Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say, Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Merkah HaKodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth and rule well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect, Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Merkah HaKodash, Barakatham. It's the brother Kazar from Menval 12 West Coast, coming back at it again with another lesson. And this lesson is going to be centered around, the situation in Taiwan. All right, now I was speaking to a brother, from Las Vegas, the brother Karatazar from Las Vegas, Menval 12 Las Vegas, and he gives me some insight. We was chopping it up on the phone, and he gives me some insight with the situation over there. You know what I mean? He gives me the insight with the situation over there. A big reason why they're trying to why they trying to take over, and have a foothold in Taiwan. These world powers, concerning U.S. and China, and which China being, allied with the Russians, Russia, that includes Russia as well. You know what I mean? The reason why is because Taiwan is the main manufacturer, the number one manufacturer of charagmas, all right, of chips. That's their number one manufacturing. Okay, and as you see right here, a quick little Google search, which we're going to get into an article as well. All right, it says Taiwan accounts for half of the overall production of microchips that are critical to functioning of mobile phones. All right, which that RFI, that technology, that charagma technology, is with the phones. They use that in the phones. All right, consumer electronics, the credit cards. That's that charagma technology that they're going to implement, in the charagma, basically. I don't like repeating the same thing over, but you gotta play it safe, because these devils got that algorithm going. But brothers, understand we using code. Okay, so you should well understand what we mean, when we say charagma. All right, it's literally just give that a Google search, and you'll get the verse, man. All right, as to what we're referring to. Okay, but anyways, it says consumer electronics, cars, military equipment, and more. All right, and then you have South Korea, which is the nearest competitor and has about 17% of the overall market. Okay, so you see, the reason why. All right, this region, okay, is in such conflict right now. It's over the interests of the world powers. All right, because these elites, all right, they're moving everything from a physical currency to a digital currency. All right, and guess what? That charagma is going to be the backbone of their NWO. All right, it's the backbone of their NWO. All right, because that's what they're going to be used, for people to consume and people to be tracked and all those things. They're going to roll all those things into one package. All right. So the country that controls the manufacturing of that, is going to have, the power, basically. All right. And it's not to say that, that's where, the Yahweh Shabbat is going to be. No, but it's going to be one of the regions that is going to be under conflict, when these wars start to pop off. All right. Because the Valley of Yahweh Shabbat is out there in the Middle East, man. Okay. Which the Lord, he's bringing them over there. You know what I'm saying? He's bringing the nations over there as well, man. All right, but this situation here, okay, is all ultimately due to the vain imaginations of these heathens. To be number one, because right now these heathens, they got a confederacy. All right, well, I don't want to say right now, but these heathens were under a confederacy. All right, we're gonna bring that out in the book of Psalms, chapter 83. Okay, but they were under a confederacy, man. All right, but that confederacy is being, disbanded. All right, because they, ultimately, with that vain imagination, they want to be the top ruler. All right, because with our downfall, Esau Edom, he spearheaded, our downfall. All right, with you had the Greeks, right? The time of the Maccabees, with the Seleucid. Antiochus Epiphanes, right? You had Alexander the Freak, he ruled over us. Then you had the Roman Empire, They completely destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD. So these devils were the main ones, destroying us, man. But guess what? These heathens, man, they also, took part in our destruction. Even to this day, they don't do anything to help, the situation with the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. No, they profit and exploit our people, man. They profit off of and exploit our people. All right, and that's that confederacy. Okay, but that confederacy is being done away with. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is putting schisms. He's putting that division amongst these heathens. All right, because he's basically putting it in the spirit of these heathens. All right, that each one in their own right should be the ones to rule the next era, for lack of a better term. They should be the ones to rule, for the next era. Like you got Moab, for example. They want to be the next to rule, and that's that vain imagination. All right, so let's go, with this right here. Now, you see what they show right there, a fingerprint. Well, it looks to be a fingerprint. I think it's actually an island of Taiwan. I don't want to, what I'm saying, get the thing mixed up. But you saw right there, what was the image? An image of a computer chip, man. All right, but within these, computer chips is that Paragma technology. Okay, now, I am in transit, what I'm saying, so I can't be, reading too much into it. I'm doing a second take because the first take, the microphone was off for some reason. Never leave the microphone off, but for some reason I wanted to be off, man. All right, so it is what it is. All right, but anyways, it reads: the island dominates production of the chips that power almost all advanced civilian and military technology. Okay, so they have a what I'm saying, like I was saying earlier. All right, the people that controls that manufacturing basically has a power in the New World Order. All right, and it's going to expound on that, and it reads that leaves the U.S. and Chinese economies extremely reliant on plants that would be in the line of fire in an attack on Taiwan. It's a vulnerability stoking alarm in Washington. All right, so you see, that's what it is. So that one doesn't have the advantage over the other. All right, because they're all trying to fight for that number one spot. Okay, so continuing on, slow down a little bit. All right, so continuing on, it reads: on the front line of the superpower struggle between the United States and China, Taiwan has fashioned a defensive master stroke. It has become indispensable to both sides in dominating the fabrication of the most advanced semiconductors, and giant Taiwan and the giant Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing company TSMC has captured a technology that's crucial to cutting-edge digital devices. All right, so you already know what that technology is talking about. All right, that's so crucial to cutting-edge digital devices. All right, and weapons of today and tomorrow. You know what that's talking about, man. All right, TSMC accounts for more than 90% of the global output of these chips. All right, according to industry estimates. Okay, and that's another thing too. They talk about the weapons as well, because everything's gonna be hooked to the Karagma, man. Everything's gonna be hooked to it. All right, and you're starting to see it now. You can't do certain things without your phone, or you can't do certain things without having a membership here, and then what I'm saying, they're paving the way for it now. All right, it reads: both superpowers now find themselves deeply dependent on the small island at the center of their increasingly tense rivalry. Okay, so they're that's setting the stage right there. All right, for Washington allowing increasingly powerful Japan to overrun TSMC's foundries in a conflict would threaten U.S. military and technological leadership. Okay, like I said, it's about being that top one. However, if Beijing invades, there is no guarantee that it could seize prized foundries intact. They could easily become casualty of the fighting, severing the supply of chips to China, vast electronics industries. Even if the foundry survived a Chinese takeover, they would almost certainly be cut off from the global supply chain essential to their output. All right, so it's all tooth and nail at this point, man. All right, it's all that tooth and nail, man. All right, you got the last statement right there. It says this isn't just about our economic safety. It appears to be connected to our national security too. Okay, because ultimately, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, this is what's gonna be the backbone of this devil's new world order that he wants to usher in. All right, and guess what? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is putting the spirit in these heathens to turn against each other. Okay, and first things first, we're gonna bring out the book of Proverbs. All right, chapter 21, and hit it real quick. All right, so Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Okay, so these the ruling classes and the people in the positions of power among these nations, at the end of the day, they're controlled by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, and the reason why the Lord had it to where these heathens got that confederacy and took us down was for punishment of our iniquity. All right, because we went off. Okay, you had a King David, right? Then you had King Solomon. King Solomon went off, and that's when the Lord rent the kingdom. All right, after King Solomon died, and then he repented. Guess what? Shortly after, the kingdom got split, and then it was infighting, and then it wasn't long after the heathen stepped in because of all the idolatry and the spiritual fornication that was happening in Israel. All right, so these heathens, they were waiting on that day to take us down, and this is another thing, which is that vain imagination, and it's all through pride and greed. All right, that blinds them, is because now they look at our people. These heathens in their upper echelons. All right, they look at our people and they don't see our people as a threat, man. You see our people, and then you see all the agendas that the sellouts is going along with. Okay, they don't see us as a threat. We're gonna be the punch that they don't see coming. All right, because the elect is gonna be raised up. See, we're the underdogs in this thing. All right, and I'm not just talking about Jake in general. No, us. Lord willing, the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we're off that number. We're the true underdogs, man. All right, because here it is. You got whole kings. They got armies. They got nations. They got the popularity in their own countries. They're raising up their people for war, for their interests. To obtain that number one seat of power. To be the next light bearer, right? And guess what? It's gonna be us, the children of Israel, that's gonna obtain that seat. All right. And what we're seeing now is the Lord, putting it into the king's heart to disband that confederacy. And what confederacy is that? We're going to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 83. All right. So book of Psalms, chapter 83. Hope I didn't pass the freeway. Yeah, I think I did pass it. All right, that's cool. I just hit the road, man. All right, it's probably better that way. All right, so book of Psalms, chapter 83. And it reads, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies have make a tumult. All right, who are the enemies? These different nations, which is getting ready to expound upon. All right, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. And they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And who's that talking about? Us, the children of Israel. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And guess what? In the punishment of our iniquity through our captivity, all right, through which ultimately was Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but by the ways of this confederacy of these heathens coming together and putting us in captivity, with Esau Edom spearheading it, and as a result, he's the light bearer. Right now he's at the top. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? That's what happened. To the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Everybody with the exempt of the hopeful elect. All right, they don't know who they are. Okay, when I mean everybody, I mean our people. They don't know who they are. You ask the average Jake walking down the street, like, yo, man, what's your nationality? Oh, I'm human. Oh, I'm Mexican. Oh, I'm black. You get a whole bunch of different answers, man. All right, but not the right one, and that's that's the manifestation of this scripture. It's the falling away. It's ultimately brought upon by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, as a punishment. Because he wanted us to, go through this punishment, man. He didn't want us to, get jacked up for a little bit and then, we repent, and then, no, man, he wanted us to drink that cup, and guess what? Lamentations chapter 4, the punishment of our iniquity has been accomplished. All right, now guess what? He's going to visit, the Lord is going to visit, these heathens, starting with the elites, man. Okay, let's continue on, and it reads, for they have consulted together with one consent, and they are confederate against thee. All right, because we're the monument of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, so them going against us, is in a sense going against the Lord. All right, going against the Lord. Why? Because it's the Lord. He appointed us to be above all these nations. All right, he appointed us to be above all these nations. To be a separate nation unto himself, above all the nations in the world. All right, so guess what? Them coming up against us to take that throne. That's that out of order, vain imagination. All right, verse 6, the tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, and Jabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Salah. All right, so you have that list of these heathens, all right, these different nations that have came together to fight against us. All right, and you see that through the different Bilderberg meetings, all these counts that they take to keep oppressing us and keep us in gross darkness, man, to keep us going off, because they reason within themselves that if they keep us going off, that we're just going to be in perpetual captivity. All right, but that's again, when that vain imagination comes in, because this is not on their time, their program. This is in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's time. This is his program. Okay, so with that, we're going to go to another precept. All right, Obadiah 1:7. All right, to show that confederacy, that due to the punishment of our iniquity being accomplished, that confederacy is up, man. All right, now the Lord got these heathens being raised up against, heathens, man. All right, it's almost like, that verse, Egyptian against Egyptian, which, that represents, the Babylonians, fighting against the Babylonians. But, it goes to show you, all right, their houses are divided. Okay, so Obadiah chapter 1:7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. All right, because all that, playing along to get along, to take us down. All right, that was all, in a sense, deception, man. These heathens don't really want to be under this devil. All right, yeah, they may have, played along, and, they may have adopted his ways, right? Like, for example, you got the so-called Chinese. They had their own architecture, their own, way of dressing, the dress codes, their own traditions. And he completely did that away and mimicked the way that these Edomites do business. The way they dress, their architecture. Before you saw the little, the Asian architecture, they used to have. Now it's nothing but skyscrapers, man. They went and modernized. That's what they call it. They went and modernized everything. And that's what the next verse expounds upon. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. All right, because they ate the bread of these devils. They follow after his ways, but at the same time, they took enough to where, it's like they didn't take enough. They took enough, but they laid a wound under him, meaning they, what I'm saying, they don't want to be under him. Okay, they do not want to be under this devil. perpetually. All right, and that's just the main, spirit that's on these heathens. All right, from Esau to Elam. All right, that they want to be the next to rule. Esau wants to continue ruling. As it says in the book of we could get that real quick. The book of 49 and 11. It's like the book of Psalms chapter 49 and 11, where it says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. All right, and they call their lands after their own names. Okay, so that's so that's what that's going into it, man. All right, and don't mind that text, man. You know what I'm saying? These little females, man. But it says, and they call their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, wait, so like it. No, that's it on that. All right, so it says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. All right, so Esau wants to keep that dominion, and these heathens want to take that dominion. Okay, but guess what? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai has appointed, all right, who's going to be the next to rule, okay, after this devil goes down. All right, see, these devils, that vain imagination, starting with these elites, they want to operate that new world order or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But guess what? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is bringing that true world order, man. All right, he's bringing in the true world order, and we're going to read it right here. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and 9. And it reads, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, so Esau is the end of the world, meaning the so-called white man, which he's in top, with these different baking families. And guess what? Jacob is the beginning of it that follow, meaning we got next. All right, not these Moabites. All right, not the Russians, which they're Edomites too. Not Elam, the Persians, not Ishmael, with them being the capital of Islam, with Mecca and all that. They want to take over the world with Islam. No, not them either, man. Jacob, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, starting with the elect, and Lord willing, we're of that number. So with that, I'm gonna say, call halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rekah HaKodash. Forgive me the spirit to do this lesson, and hope you don't mind the bumpy road. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, this place is going down. The infrastructure is going down. Everything is going down. This place is circling around the drain, man. We almost home. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next.